aming taos-pusong pakikiramay sa mga naging biktima ng recent Zamboanga City shooting. Ini-emphasize po natin ito dahil hindi lang ho ito problema ng isang eskwelahan, ito po ay malaking challenge para sa ating society pagdating po sa pagsugpo ng violence sa ating educational system. So kami po ay nakikiramay uli sa mga naulila na itong recent Zamboanga City School shooting po sa Ateneo de Zamboanga University.
Salamat po, Kong Zia. Attorney Jay, would you prefer?
Yes, good afternoon, everyone. Again, thanks for joining us today, and we're ready to take your questions.
All right, let's start po. Siyempre, ang una nating magtatanong po ngayon, walang iba kundi ating kasama si Tina. Go ahead po, Tina.
Good afternoon po to all. For Attorney Tolosa and Kong Zia, any reaction po doon po sa sinabi ni Vice President Sara Duterte na gusto po niyang mapabilis yung proseso sa impeachment? Kasi kapag tumatagal daw, ay nag-iisip yung mga tao, totoo bang may ginawang masama? Hindi ba totoo yung mga akusasyon?
Jay, would you like to go first?
Yes, I can answer, Kong Zia. No? So, well, dun sa pahayag niya na gusto niyang mapabilis, no, we don't see any problem with that. Kaisa kami, no, sa kagustuhan na matapos natin tong proseso na to sa lalong mabilis na panahon, no. But of course, yung speedy disposition of the cases, hindi naman din ibig sabihin yan kailangan natin siyang madaliin, no, at the expense of having the opportunity to fully present our case by presenting the evidence that we think are needed, no. Nakita natin, unfortunately, nagkakaroon ng delays, but wala naman may kagustuhan ito, no, dahil unavoidable talaga yan dahil sa inclement weather that we've been experiencing recently. But yes, sa amin, sa site namin, no, sa prosecution, malinaw that ito ay sinusubukan naming magawa, no, na mapabilis yung proseso. Again, makikita natin dun sa grave threats. Ganyan ang ginawa natin. We dispensed with more than half of our witnesses. After presenting 3, we dispensed with, I think, 5 to 6, no, when we saw that there's no more need for them. At sabi nga namin, pati dito sa usapin ng confidential funds, ganyan din ang gagawin namin. We will not present evidence that are not absolutely necessary, no, and will just be cumulative para mapabilis din ang proseso. Siguro one last point ko dito, kung pareho kami ng kagustuhan pala, maganda din na ipairating ito sa kanyang defense team dahil maalala natin, madaming mga dito, no, mga circumstances na nag-cause ng delay sa paglilitis dahil sa mga actions or inactions ng defense team. Tulad, for example, nung hindi nila pagtalima dun sa kautusan ng presiding officer na makipagkita sa amin to compare common exhibits before the intended testimony of Ms. Zailin Del Campo, no, na dapat yan Lunes. Binibigay nilang petsa sa amin ay Biyernes, which unavoidably resulted to delay. So, maganda kung pare-pareho naming susubukan, no, na makaiwas na gumawa ng anumang bagay na maka-cause ng unnecessary delay.
Na-explain na comprehensively ni Attorney Jay, pero from my end, I think any call for to hold the trial expeditiously it should not be a reason also to disagree, no. I think very clear naman po ang position ng House Prosecution Panel from the very start, indicative of the way the House Prosecution Panel removed some of the witnesses from the list of potential witness that we intended initially to present, no, under Article 4 during the grave threat. This is an evidence na ang gusto talaga ng House Prosecution Panel pabilisan din, because we also do not want repetitive testimonies coming from various witnesses kasi it would only waste the time of the court. So kung sino po man ang nagpapahain na mapabilis ang korte, no one is willing to really hold the trial expeditiously than, again, the House Prosecution Panel. Ang gusto talaga natin speedy. But ang sinasabi din po natin dito is yung promptness and the speedy disposition of the court's decision can go hand in hand with due process. Wala naman pong problema doon. But as long as it will not definitely compromise the presentation of both panels, not only the prosecution panel but as well as the defense, wala naman pong problema, no? But then again, issues that have delayed some of the trials, at mentioned by Attorney Jay Tolosa, are product of a a circumstance that is way out beyond our control, no? Masamang panahon, yung mga ang naging main reason dito. But again, sa amin na po sa House Prosecution Panel, dahil pinag-uusapan din, there are other suggestions coming from sitting senators na kung po pwedeng ma-adjust yung mga oras para lang magamit ng mas matiwasay at mas effective yung impeachment trial. Kami po ay sinabi naman po namin, tatalima po kami dito, and whatever would be the decision of the court kung paano magkaroon ng speedy disposition and speedy trial, kami po ay sumusuporta doon, no? Nakita naman po the way we presented our witnesses, talagang kung may nasabi or may mga ebidensya na nai-present na hindi na kinakailangan pang balikan, hindi ho namin binabalikan. In fact, kami po yung nagdi-delist ng mga witnesses na sa aming palagay ay hindi na kinakailangan pang ipresenta sa korte.
Sirs, any reaction po dito sa sinabi ng akbayan na kung gusto ni Sara ng speedy trial, then show up? Hindi pwedeng nananawagan siya na pabilisin ang paglilitis, pero siya mismo ang ayaw humarap sa proseso.
Okay, let me take that. Well, we respect everyone's position, no, and with respect to the Vice President's personal attendance, no, our position in this matter has been clear from the start, no. We recognize, no, that under the rules, the Vice President, no, is allowed to either attend in person or through counsel, no, and she chose the latter. So we respect that, no. But at the same time, tulad namin sinasabi namin, hindi din natin pwedeng hindi pakinggan, no, yung opinion at sentimiento ng mga kababayan natin na madami nagsasabi na maganda rin na humarap siya ng personal para ipakita ang kanyang respeto sa napakahalagang institutional process na to, respeto sa impeachment proceedings, no, which is being done, no, as form of a higher, one of the highest forms of accountability mechanism under the Constitution, respeto sa impeachment proceedings. Pero kung hindi pa rin siya haharap, again, tulad ng sabi namin, decision yan, at yan ay decision na kailangan niyang ipaliwanag sa taong bayan.
Matagal na po namin sinasabi yan na dapat humarap siya. Lalong-lalo na po ngayon na naipresenta natin si Ms. Gina Acosta, na ang sinasabi po niya, klaro po sa kanyang pahayag, na ang Vice Presidente ang nag-utos sa kanya upang i-transfer, no? Ito po ay kanyang word na ginamit, i-transfer yung 125 million sa kay Colonel La Chica, nang kung tinanong naman siya, meron bang mandato o responsibilidad ang isang security aid na gumamit nitong confidential funds, klaro naman po na sinabi niya ay wala under the joint circular. So ito'y dumadagdag doon sa panawagan ng ating taong bayan na ngayon, sinasabi natin, the burden of proof now shifted to the defense, no? So maski ano pa itanong kay Ms. Gina Acosta, her answer would only lead to the Vice President being the one calling the shots. So kaya mas tumataas ngayon yung panawagan ng taong bayan dahil si Ms. Gina Acosta hindi niya masusupply yung katanungan ng ating taong bayan. Bakit yun ang naging desisyon ng Vice Presidente? Maliban lang po sa Vice Presidente mismo ang magpaliwanag sa taong bayan. Kasi ang pupwede lang na masabi ni Ms. Gina Acosta ay inutusan siya. Pero as to why she was instructed, yun na hindi na niya maisusupply. Ito ay isang paliwanag na wala nang pupwedeng mag-supply, no, para maintindihan ng taong bayan ang rason o ang desisyon na yun, maliban lang sa ating Vice Presidente.
Kong Zia, as Vice Chair po of the APRO Committee, may I ask kung dito sa 2026 GAA, magkano po specifically yung nakalista na pwedeng maggamit ng government to address incidents of school violence? Also, how much po yung nakalista for mental health services? Kasama po yung excuse me, hiring ng guidance counselors and assistant counselors. And meron po bang ganitong items then for 2027?
Yes. Ito po, balikan po natin yung data, no? Just to be specific about the numbers. In the 2026 po, we approved for DepEd, we allocated 2.37 billion pesos for the school-based mental health program, no? Ito po yung magagamit para doon po sa suporta para yung mental assessment, mental health program po at assessment sa bawat estudyante ay magamit po ito by also hiring, no? Hiring 10,000. Kung hindi po ako nagkakamali, 10,000 na mga non-teaching personnel. Ito po yung mga ito po yung mga guidance counselors para po ma-assess nila regularly, periodically ang kanilang mga estudyante. Ito po intended ang intention po talaga dito ay para po magkaroon ng periodic assessment at the same time magkaroon po ng program, specific program that would counter yung sinasabi nating bullying and violence in schools. Apart from that, apart from the 2.37 billion pesos, we also allocated in 2026 DepEd budget yung 89.92 billion pesos for the child protection program naman po, no? Intended to protect learners from abuse, no? So we hope that we can actually in this budget season, budget hearing, we hope that we can actually be able to be appraised with the ongoing program from DepEd, whether this allocation, this funding has been utilized, how many of the non-teaching personnel have been hired out of the 10,000 intended new items to be created, no? In order that they can actually use the 2.37 billion pesos for the school-based mental health program. So it's timely also that we would like to again revisit and review kung alin po yung mga na-hire na, ilan na yung na-hire. And definitely because of the recent school shooting na na-experience natin, nakikita natin, no? I think these programs should continue. And kung di ako nagkakamali, tuloy-tuloy po natin tong pagbibiging assistance ang DepEd para matugunan yung mental health needs ng ating mga estudyante, no? Lalong-lalo na po it's become more it's become more disturbing, no, knowing that in our schools both public and private ay nakakakita tayo o nakaka-experience tayo ng ganitong klaseng karahasan.
Sir, same amount po yung ilalaan for 2027?
Depende po yan, Ma'am Tina, because we also like to find out kung how much has been utilized starting this year and how many have been hired, no, to supply the need for a guidance counselor per school, no, all over the country. So kung kinakailangan pang meron talagang way to to augment, no, kasi ang magbigiging basihan po diyan is yung utilization rate, di ba? So we would like to know how speedy the hiring and how speedy the implementation of these programs. We're talking of how many billions of pesos. So we would like to find out po kasi nag-start na po tayo with the BCC and hopefully we will have the committee briefing from DepEd, no? But definitely what I can tell you right now, Ma'am Tina, is that this will be a continuing program.
Pero meron siya sariling boto na.
Sir,
Opo, kuya, may meron. Hindi siya yung dun sa camera mismo.
Makikimute po.
Okay. Sir, last question. Itong itong nabanggit po ninyong items, pwede rin po bang gamitin to hire security agencies, kunyari, to secure the schools?
Well, administratively, the school naman can actually hire security agencies. That is an administrative decision that any schools division can actually do. Titingnan po natin doon kung if need be sa kanilang MOOE, kung kinakailangan po talaga nating bigyan pa sila ng sapat na budget para mag-hire po sila ng kanilang mga security agencies, no? Para doon sa tugunan yung ganitong klaseng karahasan na hindi na po maulit. But I think administratively they have the funding for that. The question is whether it is enough to cover all schools, no, all over the country. I think that's the question, and that's the thing that we need to find out pag-abot po ng DepEd's budget deliberation sa komite.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Salamat, Ma'am Miss Tina. Ang susunod po naman magtatanong si Haji. Go ahead, Haji.
Magandang hapon po, Kong Zia and Attorney Jay.
Magandang hapon.
Good afternoon.
Since napag-usapan na po yung budget briefing, may nagpapatanong lang po, especially Kong Zia, and also Attorney Jay can answer. Kung sa budget briefing daw po ba ng Office of the Vice President na nakaschedule din po sa House, pwede pa raw po bang maitanong yung funds na subject to impeachment or sakop na ba siya ng subjudice?
Sorry, may feedback Hindi ko masyadong ano po 'yun?
Apo. Sa budget briefing po ng OVP Kong Zia, pwede pa raw po bang maitanong yung funds na subject ng impeachment trial or sakop na ba siya ng subjudice?
Mukhang again, what do you mean by the budget of impeachment trial? Because it has already been, there's already that budget.
I mean yung mga funds po ng OVP na subject ng impeachment trial. Meaning, yun pong mga napag-uusapan na confidential funds noon ng OVP, yung maling paggastos ng OVP. Pwede pa raw po bang itanong yung issue na yun doon sa budget briefing ng OVP for 2027?
Well, unang-una, wala pa naman ding decision ang korte patungkol sa impeachment trial, no? So I don't see any reason bakit magkakaroon ng restriction doon sa mga katanungan na alam naman po natin na this is simply a constitutional mandate that each individual congressman and representatives are exercising, no? Kasi po sa budget deliberation, talagang pinag-uusapan po diyan ay budget, no? Kung ano yung intention ng ahensya para doon sa kanilang mga programa na gusto po nilang isulong, no? But definitely, kung ang pag-uusapan po is confidential funds, ay mukhang very clear naman po, wala naman pong confidential funds sa ngayon, no? Even the last year, just to be fair, wala naman pong confidential funds ang OVP even last year when we were deliberated the 2026 funding. And this year, I learned that there's also not any item there in the OVP that also requests for a confidential funds or anything that to that sort. So, ang makikita naman natin dyan are regular na PS, MOOE, and capital outlay, no? So, sa aking palagay, without prejudging kung what would be the questions and what would be the flow of the deliberation over the OVP funding, OVP budget for 2026, wala naman ata akong nakita dyan that would resemble the expenses that is now being covered under the articles of impeachment, which is now being deliberated on the impeachment trial, at the impeachment trial.
Attorney Jay, would you like to add? Or
Nothing to add to me, Haji.
Okay. Follow up lang po doon, Kong Zia. Nakikita niyo po ba na nung mga from past experiences, hindi naman ni Indian, hindi pa rin sisipot si VP Sara or any of her staff doon sa budget briefing ng OVP?
Kung ating pagbabasihan yung mga naging experience natin for the past 2 budget cycle, hindi talaga siya dumalo. So ang aking lang observation is, since na merong impeachment trial ngayon, I think mas lalo siyang, para sa akin, without again prejudging or preempting kung ano yung magiging desisyon ng OVP, ako I have that gut feeling that she will not be attending, especially the plenary. Baka sa committee hearing, baka pumunta pa siya doon. Kasi just to be fair also, pumunta naman siya nung last na hearing, committee hearing, nung kanyang budget. But when it reaches the plenary, hindi ho siya pumunta at wala hong pumunta sa kanyang mga staff kung di ako nagkakamali. So this is just if that would happen again, he's just being consistent. Wala siyang dinadalawan. Hindi siya dumadalo sa kanyang budget, hindi rin siya dumadalo sa kanyang trial. So she's just being consistent about her, not respecting legal processes and constitutional processes. That involves not only her own case but her own office and mandate. No, insofar as requesting the House being a co-equal branch and having that constitutional mandate to scrutinize the budget to directly not comply with the by not attending.
Okay. Next question ko po. May Facebook post po ulit si Congressman Paulo Duterte. Sumagot po siya doon sa statement kahapon sa interview namin kay Attorney Lorna Capunan with regards to the culture of violence. Sabi po ni Kong Pulong, si Attorney Lorna yung parang tinatawag na marites ng impeachment daw po. Tapos binanatan pa rin niya yung nangyayaring proceedings. Ang sabi nga po niya predetermined narrative na daw po yung kumbaga pinag-uusapan na yung mga ebidensya po na inilalatag ng prosecution. Hayaan daw po na gawin ng trabaho ng mga abogado ni VP Sara yung para maipagtanggol daw po siya, kaya hindi po kailangan humarap ni VP Sara. Pero yun nga po, may banat po siya doon kay Attorney Lorna with regards to the term marites daw po.
Jay.
The problem is I didn't see that post, I'm trying to search for it actually after you said it. I'm more curious about what he said about yung predetermined narrative, no? Maybe you could give more context what he meant about that.
If I can read the statement.
Yeah, sure,
Yes,
Vips.
yes.
Thank you, Vips.
Sabi po ni Representative Paulo Duterte, speedy trial does not mean speedy surrender to a predetermined narrative.
No, because yung all other matters niya about attacks against Attorney Capunan, etc., I don't want to comment on that anymore, no. But because I just mentioned that, I'm not sure, no, because I haven't seen the entirety of the statement. But if it gives the impression that by saying it's a predetermined narrative, if he's saying that it seems the matter has been prejudged already by the impeachment court, that's the thing that I may have an issue with, no, consistent with our reaction, no, dun sa naging statement ni VP Sara about bending the law happening in the impeachment proceedings, no. Kung again, I'm not sure if that's what he meant, but if that's what the message, that he's trying to give, that this has been prejudged already, then that's dangerous again, because that could be an attack, no, against the integrity of the court. And of course, we shouldn't say, no, na interested parties, no, shouldn't say that mukhang may decision na dito, no, impeachment court. Again, we have to respect institution and maliwanag, may pagkakataon, magkabilang panig, magpresenta ng ebidensya para ang mga senator judges ay makapagbigay ng hatol, no, batay sa mga ebidensya na ito. So again, maybe I'll try to go over the statement also while Kong Zia chimes in also.
Well, I'm not gonna defend Attorney Capunan because she can ably defend herself, no? Pero isa lang ang masasabi ko. Kaya ata nila sinisingle out ngayon si Attorney Capunan kasi talagang magaling siya. no? She was able to elicit information from the witnesses that strengthened the case against the vice president, no? Personal attacks saying na Marites would not help not only the case of the defense, but it will not help the entirety of the proceedings, no? By focusing on the merits of the case, no? Ganun lang. Sa akin lang, kung meron mga ganitong pananalita, mga ad hominem attacks on the personality and how she views individual prosecutors, that's her opinion, but it will not answer the allegations. It will not be a way to counter the allegations, much less provide an answer to increasing questions, no, surrounding the misuse of the confidential funds of the OVP. So if we dwell on this kind of talk, no, itong mga gutter talk, I think it will not sufficiently address the questions that are now being asked of the OVP. Neither would it help the defense case to defend the respondent. Mas lalong klarong lumalabas na mas na napipikon na sila sa mga katulad ni Attorney Kapunan na magagaling na mga abogado at mas effective sa paglalahad ng mga testimonya ng mga witnesses na hindi nasasagot diretsa ng depensa.
Sorry, last na lang po talaga, super last na. Kung Zia, baka may comment ka lang po doon sa ang sinasabi po, no, according to reports na pag-recant or pagbawi po ng salaysay ni Orly Guteza na siya po ay nag-deliver ng mali-maletang pera kay former Speaker Romualdez. And noong mga nakalipas po kasi, di ba, may tatlo din po na sinasabing dating members ng Maleta Boys na nag-recant din po ng kanilang salaysay na nagdawit naman po sa inyong mga kasamahan, including some of the prosecutors. Now, sa mga ganito pong pangyayari na may mga nagre-recant ng kanilang mga salaysay, naniniwala po ba kayo na lalo pa pong nade-debunk yung mga issues versus the prosecutors na binabato po ng mga tagapagtanggol ni Vice President Sara Duterte na tumanggap nga raw po sila ng mali-maletang pera? Thank you po.
Well, tama kasi kung gagamitin po natin yung naging statement po ni Senator Robin Padilla nung una pong tinalakay yung Las Cañas affidavit niya sa ICC, ang sabi po niya ay ba't tayo maniniwala sa isang sinungaling, no? Yung paiba-iba yung testimonya. So that is something that we can also apply in this case, no? Baka kinakain na sila ng kanilang konsensya dahil wala naman talaga silang ebidensya at wala naman talagang katotohanan yung mga kanilang pinagsasabi. So yun lang po yung ating that's the basic conclusion that we can draw from the recantation of some of the accusers, no? Diyan sa mga sinasabing Maleta Boys, no? But it would definitely be something that would definitely debunk their own allegations, no? Kasi sila mismo ang pinanggalingan nitong impormasyon at sila mismo ang bumabawi. So whatever is the reason, mukhang kinakain nga sila ng kanilang konsensya, no? But since the ombudsman has taken over this case, let the ombudsman appreciate, no, the effects of the recantation of some of the accusers, some of the Maleta Boys.
Salamat po.
Gino, if I could just again clarify my statement, I tried to read very quickly the statement made. So, hindi masyadong maliwanag, no? Kasi yung ibig sabihin dito, when he said, simple lang ang sagot, speedy trial does not mean speedy surrender to a predetermined narrative, no? So, if by predetermined narrative, if he was referring to the prosecution's theory then we agree that, of course, no one's saying that, or we've been consistently saying that we should also listen to the evidence that the defense may present at the appropriate time, if any. No, so maliwanag naman yan. Respeto naman natin yung oportunidad nila, no, since they have the right to due process. Right now, their right to cross-examine our witnesses, and afterwards, for the defense to present their own evidence. But kung ang ibig sabihin nito nung predetermined narrative is at what I've stated a while ago, kung meron yang, if it gives the impression, no, na meron the senator judges have already prejudged this matter, no, that regardless of what will be presented, they already have decision in mind, then that's what's troubling, which, as I've stated, interested parties should avoid making that.
Thank you.
Thank you, Haji. Thank you po. Pakinggan po naman natin si Vivian. Vivian, go ahead.
Hi, good afternoon po. Isa pong paglilinaw dun sa speedy trial, Attorney Tolosa. Bale, sinasabi po ba ninyo na si Vice President, sinasabi niya that she wants a speedy trial pero kabaligtaran yung ginagawa ng kanyang defense team?
Hindi naman in that general sense, no, na we're not, again, we want to make it clear that we've never accused them of intentionally delaying the case, no? At hindi naman namin sinasabing lahat ng action nila ay is causing this, no, it's delaying the proceedings. But what you've stated is it cannot be denied. There are several instances already, no, where their inactions have led to delays. No, we've been pointing this out a lot of times already, from magmula dun sa pre-trial, no, na doon pa lamang they refused to compare their documents with us, no, with ours. Kaya nga nangyari, nung presenta na natin yung mga testigo, we'll identify these documents, sila Attorney Roderick Wamil, Zylen Del Campo, nakita natin nagkaroon ng delays, no? So that's what we're saying. So kung pare-pareho natin gusto to, then let's all be on the same page. At maganda din na iwasan ang anumang bagay na makapag-cause ng delay.
And then, were you saying that the Vice President's physical presence is not necessary for a speedy trial?
What I said was, we recognize, no, what's provided under the rules with respect to her physical presence, no. Nakalagay naman dyan, when she is summoned by the court to appear, no, and as reflected in that summons issued by the court, she was given the opportunity or given the option to choose between attending in person or through counsel, and she chose the latter. Kaya nga sinasabi natin, no, with respect to the procedure, we respect that, no, we recognize that, at hindi namin sinasabing may linalabag siya procedurally, no, because tama naman yung sinasabi niya, no, binigyan siyang option, no, we recognize that. But ang sinasabi lang namin, just the same, considering the gravity of the allegations made against her, we understand where the public sentiment is coming from, na mas maganda she should attend para pakita niya yung respeto niya sa proceedings na to.
Opo, so makakabilis po ba o hindi kung makakadalo po ng personal ang bise?
Dun sa makakabilis o hindi, that's a completely different matter from whether, it would be appropriate for her to attend, just to show respect for the proceedings and to the institution of the Senate sitting as an impeachment court.
Kong Zia, do you have a view on this?
Well, but consistent naman po yung ating panawagan. It's a reflective of the public sentiment, no? Now that the burden of proof has shifted to the defense by virtue of the testimony and answer of Ms. Gina Acosta, when she clearly described the way the arrangement made between her and Colonel Lachica, it was the Vice President who ordered her to transfer the 125 million pesos to Colonel Lachica. That would mean that at this point in time, the explanation can only be provided by Ms. Gina Acosta is the transfer. But as to why it was transferred, why it was decided, that kind of arrangement, it was only the Vice President can supply the answer. This case Kung ang ating taong bayan gusto nila ng ganong klaseng explanation, only the Vice President can explain. How can she explain if she's not attending her own trial?
Okay. Dito naman po sir sa witnesses list. Si Ramil Madriaga, napag-usapan na po ba ng prosekusyon kung ipipresenta po siya o hindi?
It's a continuing discussion and deliberation. Again, as you stated, all decisions with respect to witness selection, these are based on what are the evidence that we need to present and what we have presented already. What we have based on our estimation, what are the important matters that we've already been able to prove. So that applies not just with respect to Madriaga, it applies to all of the other witnesses. So continuing analysis yan. So tapusin muna namin itong kay Acosta. Of course, especially these are hostile witnesses. We don't know for sure what they will say. So kailangan marinig muna namin lahat ng ma-elicit natin na important admissions from her. Pagkatapos naman si Ginoong Fajarda and then Mr. Ortonio. And after that, just like what we've been doing from the start, we'll assess again kung sino pa yung mga susunod na kailangan niyo po.
Your comment on the statement po na pwede raw po siyang maging star witness ng defense, si Ramil Madriaga, kung iyaharap po siya.
Everyone's entitled to their own opinion. And as I've stated, yung decision namin on who are the witnesses that we will present, this is based on our assessment of the targets that we need to still meet, evidentiary targets to be specific, and it will not be based on press conference rhetorics.
Thank you po.
Alright. Thank you, Vivian. Salamat sa iyong katanungan. Meron pa bang gustong magpahayag ng katanungan sa ating mga kasama sa media? Anybody else?
Roy, kung wala na, I'll just want to
Yes, please.
address one matter very quickly because it seems that I was misquoted yesterday about my statement about dun sa 2/3 rule. Okay, and I'm not pertaining to Vivian because Vivian, when she asked this during the press con, she quoted verbatim what I said. But there are some other media outlets. Meron iba nagsabi na we recall we were asked during our last press conference, what could be the effect in the proceedings of the continued absence of quite a few senators in the impeachment proceedings. And ang sinabi ko doon, what I said was it's not unreasonable to think that perhaps this could be a factor that we considered in determining whether there's a need for them to revisit it. But I think nagkaroon ng confusion ang dating, the way it was reported by some outlets. I was saying was that because of the absence, this should cause them to change their stand on the 2/3 vote. These are completely different matters. So I never said that their absence should lead them to do that and or would lead them to change. Our position on this has been consistent from the start. Magmula nung ginawa yung decision na yan ng presiding officer, we always said we will respect it, and we always said anyway, that has never been our focus. We don't engage in vote counting from the start. We've always said our focus is to present an airtight case, and sisiguraduhin namin we'll be able to back it up with solid evidence para kung ano man yan. Ultimately, anong magiging interpretation sa 2/3 vote ay will be able to secure that. Now, as to, again, just have to clarify, as to whether or not this matter, as stated yesterday, is cannot be disturbed anymore unless the Supreme Court will overturn it. Again, this is just a procedural discussion. I think it's an interlocutory order. At the end of the day, if a senator is so minded to ask the body to revisit it and vote on it, I think, in my personal opinion, is nothing in the rules prevent them from doing that because it's not a final order, it's just an interlocutory order. But again, I don't want to give the wrong impression that I'm saying that they should do anything about it or that they would. No, I'm just saying that, perhaps pwede yan, makonsider yung realidad, no? Kung ang dami talagang hindi nakaka-attend, baka it could cause them to revisit it. But at the end of the day, don't wanna belabor the point anymore. I just wanna make it clear, no, na we're not giving the impression or the message that gusto naming palitan nila ang 2/3 vote. We've never said that, and we're not saying that now. And if it's 2/3, we respect it. And again, our job is to present evidence to secure that vote.
Salamat po, Attorney Jay, sa iyong paglilinaw na yan. Napaka-importanteng distinction. And siyempre siguro to conclude our briefing, hingan natin ng pahayag si Kong Z, particularly po kung anong aasahan ng ating mga kababayan sa pagpapatuloy ng impeachment trial next week. Go ahead po, Kong Z.
Well, explain naman natin ni Attorney Jay at klaro naman po yung mga pangalan na nabanggit doon sa impeachment trial. Alinsunod din po sa ruling ng Senate Impeachment Court na magkakaroon po ng presentasyon bawat araw ng isang witness, no? Ang pagkakaalam ko, si Ms. Gina Acosta ay magpapatuloy po ang cross-examination sa kanya. Natapos ba, Jay, no? Natapos naman yung direct presentation natin.
Hindi pa Kong Z, so tutuloy pa yung direct.
Tutuloy
Yes.
pa. So tutuloy pa yung direct examination, and then inaasahan po natin magkaka-cross, no? At baka posible rin magkaroon ng redirect. So alam naman po natin yung flow. Pagkatapos po ni Ms. Gina Acosta ay yung susunod din po na SDO ng Department of Education naman nung naupong secretary si Vice President Sara Duterte. Ito naman si Mr. Fajarda. So mag-depend po yan sa anong magiging takbo ng ating panahon dahil lang naging desisyon din po ng Senate Court, ang Senado ay magsuspende dahil po sa masamang panahon. Let's hope na by next week magkakaroon po ng mas magandang panahon para tuloy-tuloy na po yung presentasyon ng mga witnesses ng prosecution panel. Jay, baka may dadagdag ka pa?
I think that's it. So again, inaanyayahan natin mga kababayan natin, no, na patuloy hong subaybayan itong paglilitis na to, no, para hindi ho tayo maligaw dun sa mga nakikita natin na laganap sa social media ng mga information disinformation campaign. Roy,
On that
you
note po,
yeah.
On that note po, salamat sa ating mga kaibigan sa media na sumama dito sa ating Zoom press conference. Salamat sa ating mga kababayan na nanonood sa ating Facebook and YouTube channels. At maasahan po ninyo, patuloy po maghahatid ang prosecution team ng mga importanteng kaganapan sa paglilitis kay Vice President Sara Duterte. Maraming salamat po. Magandang hapon sa ating lahat.
Thank you. Thank you, sir. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you. Maraming salamat. Magandang hapon.